is the gaveling in the meeting, 9:08 Lisle Township Finance Committee meeting, November 13th, in-person attendance at 4711 Indiana Avenue in Lisle. Call the meeting. Let's do a pledge of allegiance, please, everyone. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, roll call, Supervisor Hewitt. Silent. So Supervisor Hewitt here.
Here.
Trustee Robinson here. Trustee Page.
Here.
Trustee McGovern.
Here.
Supervisor Assessor Trowbridge. And in-person meeting, we have Janice Pappas. Can you just tell us who's online?
And Lisa Rose and Tanya Rome.
Okay.
Tanya, could you say it again, please? Rome, R-O-M-E.
All right, open up for public comment. Anyone in the room want to make a public comment? Hopefully you have to. Anyone online want to make a public comment? Anyone, any submissions online?
There were none.
Understand.
So I have 0 responses.
Okay, good. All right, so the purpose of the finance committee meeting, recommending body. Again, thank you everyone for being here at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. There were some issues that were tabled or forwarded to the committee from the full board. We will discuss, make recommendations, and then they could be reviewed and approved and or rejected at the full board meeting. So we cannot make any approval of anything. This is just a recommending body. The first issue that has been on the table for a number of months is what are the accounting services that we are going to use to augment the in-person or on-site staff of the employees of the township. So I've invited accountant Janice Pappas to present a proposal. You're all aware that she has helped us resolve an issue recently in our accounting, and as part of that, she has come forward and said she would like to put her name forward. We discussed this as a board and as a finance committee back in the August timeframe. At that time, we had 2 proposals, one from Lauerbeck and Alman. We had another gentleman, Mark Dahlberg, who we invited to present. The board did not make a decision at that time. We have continued with Nader and Associates, who have been engaged probably slightly over a year now. We do not have a formal business contract or agreement with them. I just received one this morning that's part of what's been shared with you all now. So we can include that review of that as part of item 7, where we have a discussion on possible recommendations retaining an outside account. So I would say on the table, we have 3 proposals. To present now. We have the Lauerbeck and Alman back from August, and we have a new proposal formalizing the relationship from Nader and Associates. So if I can invite you to speak, Janice, please.
We did prepare a proposal, and it looks a little bit like this. Do you guys have copies of it?
Yeah, we did a few meetings ago. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. So, okay, so, I've worked with a lot of clients over the years. And, it's my opinion that your accounting would, would run much better if it was online. Everybody has access to it. It's like moving into 20%. It's like an old iPhone versus new iPhone. So that's, people could get in if I'm assisting you. And if your bookkeeper has a question, I can easily help her, whatever. We have a situation now where if I have to see the QuickBooks, she has to back it up, and send it to, whatever, and it's also pretty slow. It's, a 2021 version. And that's going to expire, and the QuickBooks new proposal is a subscription model. And, this is gonna cost the same, pretty much. Basically, you're updating it every year going forward, once they, you used to be able to buy it, keep it for 3 years, and, you can't do that anymore, whatever. So it's going to expire, the one that you have, in the spring. And you can't use it more. So then you're gonna have to make some kind of change. So I'm recommending that, you go to QuickBooks Online. And it has a payroll feature, very robust payroll feature, and when things have gotten, messed up with payroll and things like that. So they have a guarantee that everything's paid on time, everything's filed on time. It doesn't require interaction from the bookkeeper either. So it's, it's streamlined, whatever. I mean, you have to make sure, junk in, junk out, so you have to make sure that that's correct. I'll just kind of like go over my thing here. So people get confused when they go with new programs and stuff like that, and that's fine. You get a new iPhone, you're a little confused like that. So I try to, get the right contact information, find out who's who, where everybody's responsibilities are. There's more people that would use the QuickBooks than you have right now, probably. So there's a reporting feature where a lot of people can look at just reports, if they needed to, so you can look at reports. I just want to make sure everybody gets trained properly, because that's important. And the QuickBooks program has a lot of videos already built into it that are, to help your questions, it's intuitive. It starts, start to use it, you can get super about what you need pretty quick, to follow somebody. But I am around to help people. So I like to, when we first start, have kind of a lot of meetings, make sure people are up to date, or, hey, did you see this? And, stuff like that. And, here. And so, you want to just push it down just a little bit. So, so I start with these 1-hour sessions, and I find out, who I'm going to be talking to and what their needs are and that kind of thing. I also have a secure portal where I, keep, information that the board might need or something like that, board reports, something like that. And I don't know if you need that feature or not, but I do, I do like chambers and churches and, they have boards, and I publish financial statements for them, and they can always get them, history of things there. So when it comes to the bookkeeping feature, the transactions get downloaded and they can easily get classified, and there's already checks there being matched, so you can see what's done and not. So it makes reconciliation so much easier. It's the classifications become sometimes you don't know how to classify them. So we have this like feature we put in and ask my accountants. And so I would, meet with your bookkeeper periodically, or, whenever. I worked with her a little bit, and we have a good relationship, and it's easy to work with her. And she would, just ask me a question, and I think we could fix it, or we could, spend a few minutes. So I'm pretty flexible in terms of my time, it's just kind of call me. But I do set up meetings, so we can have a list and go over. So I try to make it as easy, the conversion on my clients as possible. The payroll piece has this thing called Workforce. And so all your employees have a portal where they have all their paychecks, W-2 in there and everything else. We'll still print a W-2 and hand it to them. It'll also get mailed. So they, so if you're shopping for the car and it got mailed, you lost it, and they're they don't have to call us. They have to call, anybody. It's in their portal. So we just direct people to the portal.
So sorry, that's part of the,
Yeah.
that's part of
That's
QuickBooks Online?
mhm.
Okay, nice.
So everything now, is really changing, and so, everything is, with AI and everything is, online, and, you have to print, So we're gonna move from the 20th century to the 21st century. That's what I'm talking about, And now some people like to move, into new features and new things, and some people don't, which is natural. And I'm trying to get my husband to go with streaming, and like, he was, now we are in streaming, and I'm happy to report he loves it. So, it's just, it's just converting from old to new, and it's really easier, but people have to go, you know. And the older we get, the less we like change, so. So that, but you know, whatever. So at any rate, you know, then QuickBooks also has a 1099 feature. It's an additional add-on cost a little bit, not that much. And then when it comes to the audit, budget, tax levy, you know, your other things, I don't really know, you know, I've worked with them, but I'm a lot of experience in budgeting, worked with audits, you know, this is my job to do those kinds of things. So, you know, so I would, you know, be available to help out with all that. I don't do audits, but I've certainly assisted in a lot of audits. And my charges, unless you have any questions.
Yeah, the two things. We appreciate all you've done. You introduced yourself. You started to work well with all the board members and all the employees here. You know, one of the concerns we had when we did a previous view is contrasting an individual versus an organization. So do you want to talk a bit about how you would help us get more comfortable with that aspect of it?
Sure. So I was a partner of a CPA firm, and I actually sold my interest, you know, several years ago, but I still work with the firm. And we partner on different things. As a matter of fact, she's got a weekly newsletter, my name's still on it, so they actually think I still partner there. And so I've already talked to her, and she was actually gonna come with me this morning, but she's in Florida and she's not home yet. She's in Florida for the weekend, she's flying out this morning. Yeah, so she's a CPA, she's in her early 30s. And there's an accountant, and then there's 4 people that work there. It's like a receptionist kind of person, an admin kind of person, and then an accountant, and then me as a CPA. And so we consult for actually going for our continuing professional education this month together in Florida. For have backup. And she's very easy to work with. I trained her right. I think I heard when she was like 20. She was still in college. And so you would really like her. Smart, sharp,
Okay, good. Thank you.
cooperative, and yeah. And that's it.
That's it. Thank you, please.
Okay, so in terms of ongoing charges, so for bookkeeping type work, like, okay, so my Mia, she always charges $275,000. But I feel like, but she has other people who work for her that charge a lot for. So I, by myself, do the bookkeeping work, which I feel like you charge $275 for that, so I charge $200 for that, so I charge $200 now for the other things that I did for you. So I kind of have a mix of those hours. So I'm thinking the ongoing charges would be about 6 hours of bookkeeping type function a month and 8 hours of what we call CFO services. So altogether, that'd be 3,400. And the initial setup is going to be a little more time because I'm not sure, you know, whatever else needs to be fixed and that kind of thing. So I just have some estimates there of bookkeeping hours. Could be less or more, whatever, I'm sure. 1099s are $30 each. And I do have some estimates. So I have some estimates for the conversion. I think it would take about 4 hours of conversion time at the 2 seconds. So it's $1,000, $1,100, I think, for the conversion. And then the next piece would be some training. I think I would probably spend 8 hours with your bookkeeper training. So it wouldn't be like all at one time. So it'd be like, you know, introduce her to this and this, and then she starts working on it. She's gonna have a lot of questions, they go back and, you know, whatever. So I think that'd be 8 hours over a period of time. And maybe not that long. And then whoever else needs some training. So I might need to train Trustee Robinson, Supervisor Hewitt, And, you know, anybody else, so I just need 2 hours to do that. To be on that, I'm pretty sure, Commissioner Young would need some training. Because he uses it, so supervisors probably need to know things or whatever, I'm not sure who has access to it or who needs access to it, so that's one of the things I want to assess, you know, what kind of, privileges do people want, you know. If you would, supervisor, you would have access to everything first, and, probably so would trustee Robinson, I don't really know, so we have to see who has access to it and what they need to do.
Thank you. I know we probably haven't thought hard about this, well, I'm speaking for myself, since the August timeframe when we really had a focus on it. Thoughts of the trustees? Any questions you have?
The question I would have is, how long do you see the training lasting? I know you gave us like hours, but
I don't think I think it's pretty quick.
Okay,
It's like you get a, you know, I mean, I've got hours here that I'm estimating, and I think I might be estimating it myself.
okay,
So I have, I think it'd be 2 hours for one person.
okay,
So I mean, I probably initially spend like 15 minutes, half hour with something,
okay,
you know, and then go back and they want to learn more.
okay,
It's just kind of like, it's a lot to absorb all at one time.
Right.
So you kind of like introduce them, there's, you know, some people are figuring out themselves and other people want a little more help.
thank you.
It's like a
month?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so, you know, as people, it depends on, you know, how fast people want, yeah, but people are always gonna have, you know, some questions, but yeah, within a month, I'm sure would be, yeah. It depends on how much, you know, so you might introduce it to somebody, so I might talk to Commissioner Young, for example, he's a pretty bright guy, but he would, I'd show him. And he might not use it for a month, and then I have to go back and show him, you know, whatever, stuff like that, you know, so I don't really know, whatever, but it's pretty intuitive though. Honestly, it's pretty fast. I've done it a lot of times with a lot of people. And, you know, some people don't want the new, and other people are like, oh my God, this is best ever. But usually the people who don't want the new end up, after they play with it or learn it, they're like, this is better, pretty much. It does a lot more things, less and faster, easier. Mr. Trowbridge is used, Assessor Trowbridge is used for the 29. You like it?
Yes,
It's very easy to use it.
it's very, for me, the portions that I use, it's very easy.
So that's the other thing. So if people go get training, you're gonna get training on the whole thing. Well, that's like too much to absorb and you don't need that. So we designed an accounting system that works for your entity and then train you on that. Right, so because accounting is tricky because you gotta know accounting and you have to know how to use the tool. And you can take a lot of time in a class, you know, learning the tool, but you don't know how to apply it to accounting because you really accounting. So this way, you know, we streamline whatever the accounting process is supposed to be and capture the information. And then, you know, you can get meaningful reports. A lot of the board reports I do have graphics on the front, you know, so I have some boards that only use the graphics. Don't even look, because you don't have a accounting background, even for me, I have an accounting background. When I go look at financial statements, it takes a long time to look at it, you know, it's and you gotta, you know, nothing pops out, whatever. So this way, if you've got some graphics on the front, you kind of know where you are. It's easily, you know, you can see where you are in the budget process, how much money you use, which needs to come in, and, you know, all the line items. You can see some different things. So, you know, it's easy to do in QuickBooks Online. It's kind of built in.
Janice, have you worked with municipalities in the past?
No. Not like this. I mean, I've worked with Cass Junior High, worked with the Darien Chamber and you know, some nonprofits, other nonprofits could have. But a municipality itself, no. But I have a lot of county experience. And I'm just pretty close. So there's kind of, you know, rules, you know, kind of like this thing. Just apply it to the different stuff, you know. But I've had a wide variety of businesses. I don't focus on one business. I have a lot of look of businesses. Diverse.
You talked through an experience of you're coming into this role into an organization, how you introduce yourself and how you sort of help the board and all the employees get comfortable and work with you and your partners as well.
So you want me to talk about? Wait, what was that a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, so, yeah, a new organization. So
Yeah.
give an example of someone you took on as a new client just recently.
Okay.
How- any surprises you found in that process?
So I just recently took on a doctor, like one of your clients, and, he's worked with accountant after accountant after accountant, and her books have never matched, and she doesn't know where she's at, and, nothing's wrong, nothing's ever right, and, well, they put a lot of stuff in wrong too, so I could see, kind of the problem. And, so I worked with her, and we've moved into QuickBooks Online for her, and it's made it a lot easier, and, I've trained her bookkeeping person, and I meet with her now, first couple of times I met with her, like, I don't know. And then this last time, I think it was about 15 minutes, and then we were able to. So as I worked with her to put the stuff in, she kind of found her mistakes or what she was doing wrong or how to do this better and, whatever. So we kind of like did some projects together. So she went to her conference and she called me up and she goes, "This is the first time I've ever had my books match my." And people have to make her billings, stuff like that, for her services. And she goes, "It's never happened before," and I was just like, "Hold up." So, it took a lot of time for me to get her, because they're not used to this, they don't like it, but now they're in love with it. So, I kind of like, I'm flexible and I kind of model myself and try to for the different entities because everybody's got to do situations and different skill sets and different everything. And so, I just try to work with whatever that is.
Thank you.
So I think that your bottom line is you want your accounting function to be kind of invisible. You don't want it to be, you want to see that there's an output that's useful and then you get busy with your job and busy making important decisions. And if you have to worry about whether accounting is done right and the audit's falling apart or the budget's not, well, all those, whatever it is, if you have to worry about those things, then you're not doing what you need to be doing, which is getting your job done and making important decisions for the town and how to make that work better. So I would try to make your accounting system.
Thank you. So should the board consider 3,400 as a not to exceed? How should we think about that now?
Yeah, so, I'm gonna say that would be like after maybe the beginning of the year. So I think what you should do, what I'd like to do is, I know you've got an audit. And I know you've got some tax levy and some other things like that. So I would like to focus on those things right now. And, QuickBooks payroll. I don't want to convert that until after you're done with your last check this calendar year. Because then you have to put in all the information this year into the new QuickBooks, and that's just not going to be like financially smart thing. So, January 1, it would be the whole new payroll, the whole new system.
Okay.
So for right now, I mean, you chug along with 2021 for a month and a half. And then I know there's other things that need focus, like maybe the budget and the audit and tax levy and those kind of things. So I think my efforts would be, on those for now to help you. Whatever you guys need right now.
Okay, then our fiscal starts April 1st for that.
So the switch conversion would be a January 1, but it'd really be the end of December. I don't know
Okay.
when your last paycheck is, like
Okay.
the 26th or something, then we can run the 28th night, like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I think. I think it would be a 3,400 going forward. And I think the setup would be kind of like what I have listed on here
The,
at the bottom.
right, so the 8.
Yeah.
4 plus 4 conversion, 8 training, is that, sorry, that,
Yeah,
and then potentially additional hours for training, got it, okay. Good.
I don't really feel like I take along, like, so if I'm learning something new, what she's out in charge for those kind of things, right? Because that wouldn't be, that's on me. But, you know, there's. We work on, you know, some new different things or whatever. I'm not sure, so how much involvement you would want from me for the audit and the, you know, the other things. But before we even move into QuickBooks, if you don't need help with the audit or a budget or something, that you would probably, but if you don't need help with that, I could work on streamlining your accounting system, which would be independent of the conversion. The conversion itself is pretty quick. Probably a 4-hour thing. But
Okay.
it might even be, you know, it might even be an hour. But, you know, you clean up the file. You get the reports from the file, you convert everything, and then you look at what converted. So sometimes there's things that fall through that you have to. Yeah,
So sorry, I don't want to drill in on this, but so the 3,400 is an estimate monthly.
Yes.
Or at least. For the remainder of 2023 and all of 2024, I mean, when would you typically make adjustments in your rates?
so I'm gonna say probably, you know, February going forward, I think with 3,400. That'd be good. I know,
And that would be
It- it-
for full, sorry, to cut you off, that would be for the
So,
full 2024.
so I think, you know, there's a time where I need to understand your scope. You
Okay.
know, what with audit and the budget, you know, and that kind of thing. How much effort do you want from me and the tax levy? Those things. I don't know what you need to do with that or where that even is. I'd have to get smart on that, but let's say February 3,400.
Okay.
These next 2 months, you know, I think it's just hourly is the fairest.
Okay.
Me, here's the thing, if I have to give you a number, what would I do? I give you a line. I wouldn't know.
You asked my question.
So it's better to just do an hourly, it's fair for both of us. And I think, I don't think it would be, you know. More than 3,550, you know, I don't know where your insurance right now.
Okay.
I mean, maybe the audit is pretty much done and gonna be.
We are gonna talk about that.
Sorry, I can't really turn it off without, because I'm
It's okay,
That's fine.
on.
all right, all right, thank you. Any other questions?
I think all my questions have been answered.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, and I know you have another meeting too, right? And, I mean, you're welcome to stay, it's a public meeting, but
Oh, no, I have another meeting. This is the time of year when everybody, I meet with clients to figure out what their year was like, and we estimate what the tax might be like, and then we see if there's maybe moves that we can make to save some taxes, so.
I have my
I'm
call.
up on that right now.
I'll do a call with my guy tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know the plan.
What can we do? So whatever, there's different credits for different things and stuff.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate all you've done so far for us.
Oh, you're welcome.
The time you put.
If I
Present
do
this
have
to
a
us.
couple things to figure, finish up, whatever. We talk like this week sometime.
It sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, one of the things, and again, this was an accelerated time frame to have this meeting, so one of the things I'd have supervisor was to confirm if Lauerback and Almond are still interested in working with us. I'm not sure we have that confirmation yet, so
Yeah, we have no paperwork from them right now.
we have, we have a proposal back from June 28th,
Okay,
right?
I do not recall that, I'm sorry.
So if anybody wants to look up at the screen, we've had this 3 different proposals from them. And it's been in your packet, printed a few times. It was hard to get everything reprinted and everything in time for a meeting when we were off on Friday and what have you not. But so they have 3 different tiers of services that they offer, essentially from a price structure. They have a whole team of people. They're based in Naperville. They came here to present once. They've been interested for almost half a year now. And then with the price structure, they do have two different, essential, or three different price structure options, $175 an hour. The second one would be if they were doing, this on the monthly. And that would be, this is what they think that they would, they could do monthly from a guaranteed price structure. And then this would be if there was a need to do everything. So they have a all-in-one shop that is focused on the ability on 98% of their clients are based in the municipal side. So they've had, again, their focus is right here. So, and I just, so we're clear, the 9 o'clock is hard on a Monday for me. I have a 10:30 hard stop for myself personally. You all can keep going, but I need to but I didn't know that the timing of how long things were going, so I was just gonna let that be known.
I
I
think,
wanna comment on pricing. So Linda, for the month of September, October, she comes out to like almost 4,300 a month, 4,265. And they're about the same. A little like $100 under Linda, and then looking at Janice. I think we probably will see a $4,000, initial month, but she is our lowest bid so far now.
yeah, so just the two things, trustee Geis just pinged me to say, oops, is there a link? So,
Okay.
She's logging in.
she'd like to get the link. I think I have
On the
this.
website.
Yeah.
Every spot. And I just want to be sensitive to the agenda, so, we talked about the proposal from, item 5, we talked about the Lauterbach and Almond proposal, now we're into discussion, possible recommendations on which account we'd like to retain. There was a new proposal, I think it was printed from, Nader and Associates this morning. One of the things, you're right, there's a price issue. One of the things is, I don't know, if there is backup behind that. And I think there have been times when there's been gaps in her availability to us. And maybe that's something we can push on to say, who's the backup for you? Because I think there have been some times when it would be helpful to have had additional. And I know that was one of the concerns we had when we looked at some of the alternatives earlier. So, I think we've all acknowledged we're a small organization, right? And we're trying to assess what level do we really need? And part of that, Lauterbach and Almond is focused on municipalities, no question. Deep research or deep depth across the resources. What we heard this morning is, I can help you. I'm competent, I can help you, and I have backup. I think that's what we heard from Janice Pappas, and as a township, we've experienced some benefit in working with her on a limited issue. And I'll be honest, I mean, I have respect for what Linda Nader has done to help us get through the year. But I would like to see more backup behind that, or if we're gonna go a different route. So those would be my some of my thoughts on that, but
I think a more personable approach too is very necessary, because I know we've kind of bumped that's because of the backup, but
Are we, just real quick, are we raising hands before we speak, so I know how to raise my hand when
Yeah.
Supervisor Hewitt?
yes, please, yes, then, thank you for joining. Would you like to make, yes, please join in.
And you can raise your online or your hand.
Where is that? Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, perfect. So, sorry, I had to deal with a Wi-Fi outage here and totally lost track of time. I think that, I agree with you, Trustee Robinson. I feel like, I think Linda Nader has done great work for us up until this point. I think the challenges of the dynamics of lack of communication flow and cooperation have probably not made that easy. It perhaps has caused some of the delays. I don't know 100%. I think that the only person who can really speak to that is her. But I also see value in the fact that she's the most familiar with our situation too. And she has been working so closely with the team. And I think that I think the one thing that we keep running into a problem with is the expense of loss of retention, the lack of retention, and having to constantly go through the process of re-educating, right? And I think we have to factor that. And I wonder if some of the personal challenges didn't exist, or the lack of communication didn't exist, or the direction was not clear, and because of all the changeover, if those factors were not all something we were dealing with, would we have had some of the same results?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that perspective. Thank you. Over on item number 7. We have 3 options in front of us. As I said, accountant Nader has brought forward a proposal which brings her projected billing to $4,000 a month. So, and basically there have been issues. We've addressed them. Her billing the last month has come down from what it had been over the first number of months. So, we effectively got 3 proposals. I would say Nader and Associates about $4,000 a month. Right. Lauerback and Almond looks like 4,000, and then it ramps up to 4,100 early part of March or April. That's why I was asking about if the rate would increase. And then, accountant Pappas is coming in at about 3,400. Once you get your feet on the ground. So those are our 3 options right now. I think they are all viable options. And I would like a formalized agreement. We don't have right now in an upper limit effectively on the billing. So I think that's the value of us as a finance committee making a recommendation to the board so that we can get to that point. I guess I'll ask for people's opinions as to what direction they would like to go.
Okay. Are we facing like $40,000 to $48,000 a year every year going forward? Is that a necessity to oversee? We never had that before, but look where we're at now.
That's where I'm at,
Right?
yeah.
So, do other municipalities, do other townships, is this the same rate that they, not rate? Do they have to budget nearly $50,000 a year for their accounting services?
I would say based on the presentation we had from Lauerback and Almond, that yes.
Okay.
But I know historically we have not required that level of investment. I wasn't here, and a number of you, we're not here for, you've been here 2.5 years, or almost 3 years now. I don't know what level of reports were provided historically, what level of CFO level services were provided by the in-house staff. So I think they're all saying we can help you get to a different level in terms of the reports that you see, and let's just take it off the table, and you're able to make financial decisions. You don't have to worry about the books. It's sort of what I heard. And I would say that would be across the board from all 3 of them. So I think at this point that we should assume that is a requirement. We are going to rebudget, for 2024 in the first quarter of 2024, and by then we'll have a better assessment maybe about the level of services that we need. So
I would imagine it would phase out a little bit too, when it becomes old hat with QuickBooks Online. Not phase out entirely, but
Become less of an
Yeah,
expense, maybe like less hours involved.
right.
yeah, and we haven't challenged any of them for how do you help us get to a lower investment with you ongoing.
Right, but I think that's something we could do.
Right, exactly.
But the money that we've spent to this point.
Right.
To straighten it out, blows the 48,000 out of the water
Right.
pretty much, right?
Well, I know my recommendation.
Yeah.
Pardon.
Well, can I ask you to share
Where
that?
my comfort level lies in Janice Pappas. I think she is the most personable. I think she's had a taste of what we have gone through and what everything looks like. I think moving to QuickBooks, Books Online is smart too. I think that the double check, that more people can look at it, or the finance committee can just
Mhm.
open it up, is a wonderful aspect. She seems very responsive and she has backup and her price comes in at the lowest. So that would be my choice.
I would echo what trustee Geist and trustee McGovern said. Trustee Geist mentioned the work that Linda Nader has put in, and she really has put a lot into it, but I think that we've kind of come to a point where we really do have to go into a different direction. It's finances, it's communication, it's everything that's been mentioned. So I deeply appreciate what she's done for the township to this point, but we have to be fiscally responsible. We really do have to reach out and find every nickel we can right now to save. So
Can the person doing the job actually make a comment here?
Well, wait, I have my hand up.
I have my little
Oh,
mini
okay.
up here, so you go first.
I want to say something to you as someone who has used QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Hard. I don't
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, please, trustee Geist.
know if you can see my hand. As someone who has used QuickBooks Online and the hard software on the computer, I can tell you most QuickBooks pros will tell you the online is very, very different and it can be challenging. I don't recommend an online version where people access it remotely either. Take that security piece off the table. It's a very different app online than it is on the computer. I have actually considered switching to the hard software version because of it. I have nothing but problems every single year. It is very different.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate, you've got direct experience. I appreciate the perspective. Thank you.
And the second thing I would say is it's really important we all have our opinion outside looking in at the intricacies of what's working inside this finance function. I really do think we should hear out Lisa Rose because she's the one doing the work. We are not. Ultimately, we're not doing the work. And so I really hope that we do take some time to really hear what she has to say, regardless of what your final decision is.
I appreciate that. So thank you for that, creating that opening. Lisa Rose, please provide your perspective.
Okay, so my perspective is, as I only started getting training back in May, I did not get any training beforehand other than getting to do things here and there because when Linda came in, the supervisor decided that nobody but Linda should touch the books. But I've made great strides in learning the software and knowing how to do the things regulated with my job. So I have worked with Janice on the IMRF issue and she is concise and she did a good job on that. But I don't know how she would work with day-to-day stuff. And just to go ahead and switch over the entire system to an online system, it makes me extremely uncomfortable. I know that Linda has been against doing the online version at all because of the challenges of the security issues and the loss of certain features that we currently have now.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, the thing is like, I don't think Janice is giving you a nice lowball offer because of what she assumes the day-to-day work and what things are happening in the system. But, a lot of people come in and, well, Linda came in and thought it was going to be an easy thing too, and it was not. So I'm just saying that, for you to switch over a whole nother system and a whole nother personality, and she's going to streamline bookkeeping and streamline, we've already kind of got a streamlined system here. But I don't know. I am not as enthralled with, and I like Janice a lot, but I'm not as enthralled with changing over and having to relearn or, do something, the way that she sees done, even though it's kind of been working here as our system for a while. And I think that given some more time here, I don't think you're gonna have to pay that much in any essence. I'm just gonna need like an hour or two a month from somebody just to check over stuff. But that's my opinion. Like I said, I think like I can be, if I've gotten this far and being here for like, what, 5 months now, actually getting training to where I'm gonna be 5 months in the future and getting my bookkeeping classes in as well. I'm confident in my ability to be able to handle a lot of things that I think Linda's handling now or helping me with now. But that's just the thing, we're still training. This is something that was promised to me back in the day, and we're gonna switch over a whole thing that has been working for me because Linda is a very good teacher. I don't know how Janice is. I haven't really, everything that she came in to do for the IMRF, she did on her own. And then we just changed things in the system. So it really wasn't a learning experience on how or what we were doing. So I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying, is I know what you're saying about the cost, but I don't think that's gonna be forever. And that's just my point of view.
Thank you.
Valid point, very valid points, Lisa. Thank you.
Trustee Geist, your recommendation?
I mean, here's the thing. I'm shocked that Linda Nader would even want to continue working with us, to be honest with you. I think the fact that she's willing to shows a level of professionalism that I'm in admiration of. I know that things have not been perfect, but I'm not convinced it's not because of just the dynamics of what has happened in that office. And I'm always going to be the person who leans to the one you know is the one you know. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't want to say that, the actual adage because I don't see her as that, but I feel like familiarity will breed success. And I think that, again, we should really hear Lisa Rose on this because she's been in the trenches with this for the last year. She knows best what her experience has been and what she's capable of. And I think she's being honest with us with her experience and where she's at and her capabilities and how we can reduce this and get back to the days where under the prior administration, we didn't have this gross expense. A lot of the crux of really this was there was a problem that existed that nobody knew about. And that has consumed a lot of time and hours and money, right? But also at the end of the day, every time we have turnover, there's an expense and there's a cost to that, and we're feeling it. And I think if we hadn't had that, it maybe would have been not as painful. That's just financially, right? I'm hoping that with some of the reductions that we're making, that we are putting ourselves in a better position. I think the education we're providing, Lisa Rose is putting us in a better position. And I feel like we need to give this a little more time based on the fact that she's just really completing this training. I mean, I could see if she completed the training a year ago and we're still leaning into Linda Nader, but that's not the case. And Linda has been doing the training to give Lisa the skills that she needs to be successful in this job. And we're not even giving that an opportunity to run its course. I feel like we should at least, maybe it doesn't have to be a year engagement, maybe a 6-month engagement. I don't know if that's an option on the table with Linda Nader, but just to see this through and see if she can keep the cost down and then maybe revisit this in 6 months. That would be my recommendation.
We can go monthly with Linda. Services can be terminated by either party within 30 days.
And then
Okay.
here, something to consider too, is that we brought this up, we need to ask Linda about availability and backup. Right, what is her backup when she's out of town? Because communication and availability has been an issue, which has kind of stopped or slowed.
100%. She needs to be coming to I think some of it is she's trying to empower Lisa to really take the lead on this, but I think in the times where we still had so many questions, we really needed her there. Unfortunately, we really could have used her at the meeting last Wednesday, but she had a test that had been scheduled for a year. You know, maybe we should have rescheduled it. I don't know, because I think the audience didn't really have a clear picture of our financial situation so that they understood how we came to the conclusion we did. And one of the things I had hoped we could create, if not for today, from today, is like almost an oversimplified explanation of where we're at and how we came to where we did last Wednesday, so that people understand that this had nothing to do with personality. This had nothing to do with, interoffice conflict. I mean, I've heard so many things as having the person been part of the severances last week, the visceral, we're not going to go there, but I think that the public needs to know how we came to where we are in a very, very clean summary. I think, Linda could probably have provided that for us on Wednesday had she been able to be present. And since she wasn't able to be present, you're right, there should have been somebody, an alternate in her place to provide that for us. So I would agree with you that that's definitely something that has to be part of the agreement. How are we going to resolve when she's not available? And there's so many questions that really help us to be not just accountable, but transparent with the community. Because right now, I don't think that from the feedback we got that night, I don't think they understood why our hand was forced to make the decision that we did.
Right. So you haven't said it explicitly, but I'm hearing your recommendation is to continue with Nader and Associates. Is that your recommendation?
I would like to give her a little bit of time once Lisa is, completely completed her training. I'd like to give her a little bit of time because she's already familiar with the system. There's no ramp up. She's very comfortable using the hard software versus online. And Lisa's right. There are functionalities that you lose between the online and the hard. I know, I'm living it. And I think I don't think that we're in a rush. We've already made some pretty big decisions to reduce cost. And I think that we have a little bit of time. And I think that we should honor the training that has been provided, give that person a chance to give her a chance to be successful, right? Under the current scenario. And we can revisit this, even if we want to say we want to revisit every month, I'm okay with that. We have all the other offers on the table. We can make a switch at any time. We've already done that work. So the bids are already there.
All right, thank you. So I'm hearing recommending body, your recommendation is to continue on a month-by-month basis with Nader and Associates or Nader Enterprises.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Hugh. Sorry?
Do
Yeah.
you need me to state that?
No, I think
Okay, thank you.
that's fine, thank you. Supervisor Hewitt?
Okay, and being aware that we're running out of time on this meeting, I would recommend going with Janice or with Lauterbach. Either of those two would be fabulous options. And I have never limited any training from Linda in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, thank
She was
you.
always asked to be doing training.
All right, so I'm gonna loop back.
True.
Supervisor has said basically Lauterbach and Omen so you don't have a preference of those two?
I think they're both great options. I'm just trying to figure out we need to get to 3. So I'm open to either of those two. Trustee Robinson, we haven't heard from you either.
Well, no, I wanted to look back. Have you changed your perspectives based on?
I'm fine hearing Lisa. I am not familiar with online versus the hard copy.
And we're not working with it.
Right. I am happy that we have backups, but if we want to continue monthly with Linda, I think that's fine and it's consistent, but I feel comfort in the fact that there are backups.
From a Janice perspective, she wasn't requiring that to be a part of her service. So we're clear.
Right, we could
So-
do the hard, yes.
So
we
she
could
was
choose.
fine with, obviously going along with that. So making the online option and the, and the
Right.
desktop option, the difference between Janice and Linda isn't necessarily the most fair choices because Janice was thoroughly fine with and has the ability to work with the desktop option.
Correct. That's one of the
Yeah, that
factors.
wasn't, that was,
But I- Familiarity.
All right. My preference would be to go with, Janice. Fundamentally, there is no communication between the current accountant and the supervisor, and that to me is a problem. I don't know how we fix that.
That in itself is a problem, because I don't know how to put this the right way. If somebody doesn't like somebody else, then they know it's pretty easy to stymie. You know what I mean? If they don't
Well, and-
agree. You know what I'm saying?
and she liked her in the beginning. So here's what the challenge is. Anytime the relationship starts to disintegrate because there's a pushback, then the relationship falls apart. It doesn't matter who we bring before this board. It doesn't matter who we select. The inherent problem, the common denominator consistently, no matter whether it's accounting or legal, is always going to be what it is. So, I mean, I think we need to be honest with ourselves about that.
I want to make sure we get that on the table. Exactly. All right, so consensus is, and again, recommendation, continue with Linda Nader, a reduced rate. And she's proposed at $4,000 a month. So one of the concerns we had was the level, and also have her identify how she's going to provide backup to her services.
Yes,
Is that what the
and availability.
and availability?
Yes.
Okay.
Understanding that she's about to go into tax season, which means that availability is gonna be more limited.
She's a grown-up professional who can tell us what her schedule is.
All right. All right, so the recommendation of the board is to continue on a month-to-month. The recommendation of the finance committee is what I'm hearing consensus. Let me say it explicitly, is to continue with Linda Nader or Nader and Associates on a month-to-month basis within the scope, the current scope, or she outlined in her proposal letter, at a $4,000 a month, not to exceed without prior approval of the board, on a month-to-month basis. So,
Yes,
But if we receive deep challenges, I would be ready to revisit.
yes.
okay, yeah, okay, certainly. All right. Let's, I guess, let's do a vote. Trustee Geist,
Yes.
trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, yes. Supervisor Hewitt.
No,
All right, thank you. That's number 7. Number 8, discussion on progress of the audit. I printed out this morning what the status is. I think the supervisor was able to make copies. There are 2 levels of an audit. One is the preliminary and one is the final. And Supervisor Hewitt, I know you've had, just to set the framework, there was a communication from the Sikich, from Martha at Sikich on October 11th, said, here's some open issues still, would communicate it to the finance team, Linda Nader and Lisa Rose. There was some material provided back again. I know the supervisor had an additional communication probably closer to the end of October, saying there's still a few open issues. I went into the portal last night and printed out what are seen as the outstanding issues. If you kind of work your way through it. I know there was an update in the from the finance team last board meeting around what the status is. I guess I will ask Lisa Rose. I guess I should forward these to you. Have you looked at Lisa Rose? What is your perspective on the open issues and what it's going to take to get closure on them?
I just think it's gonna take some time to kind of get in with Linda and really just push through. Like I said, there are several things that we probably should talk to Martha on, but since communication is so low, we'll see how that goes, but that's what this week is for, is kind of going through, because most of the stuff is done. It's just a matter of kind of like plugging through it, so.
Can you explain what you meant by communication is low?
Linda, I'm sorry, Martha doesn't really, we send things and ask questions and she doesn't really get back to us very often. So like I said, the last one was before the last board meeting and we've been working on stuff, but that was kind of a rough week because there were there were things going on beyond our control, so, and, it's been also like payroll and board meeting week and, other things, so it's busy back in the finance office, so. But like I said, I've got everything kind of up, payroll and things like that up to date. And I have this week cleared to kind of go through all that stuff and get it taken care of.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Martha is on maternity leave, so that's probably why there's been a little bit of a low communication in the last week. We got a letter back from the firm saying, and this is from Laura, saying that the passing of issues and they couldn't make the meeting, they wish that they could. But basically, yes, this meeting, we invited them to them. The pressing issues of the general detail provided does not match trial balance. Martha had written me a long note saying, again, that they had given a variety of reports back that needed balancing and they hadn't gotten them balanced. So they're waiting for that to be updated. So that's what we're seeing here is what is coming from Sikich.
Right, and there's a lot of things that have not been balanced in the past, so that's where the issue lies. There's a bunch of things that I think this firm is looking for that the last firm probably didn't. They took care of differently, I guess, is just so to speak. But I did speak to the old accountant, Scott, I believe, and he had her number and tried to call Martha. And I made sure Martha had his contact information because there was a lot of questions about the motor fuel tax. And since we don't do that, it's all done off books. But she, he said as of the date that I had last talked to him that she had not contacted him and they had not talked. So and then nobody knew that Martha was pregnant. It would have been nice to know that so that we had somebody else that was working with her to kind of contact as well. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you. Did they identify an alternate who we can communicate with relative to this?
Yes, this morning. And again, I didn't know that she was
Okay.
with a child, so how would I have let anyone know this? So the extension ends on the 27th. And is there any intention or plan to get what's needed done before the 27th?
Oh yeah, that's the plan, yes. But there's gonna be some need to go back and forth with whoever this new liaison is. So if you have some information, if you could forward it to me, I will get in touch with her and we can get
Great,
some
and
of the other questions answered, because there's a lot of things that have been put into the files that have not been accepted. There are several things that are on that list that is going to be something that while they're auditing, they need. So it's not like something that we prepare ahead of time. So that's kind of.
And
Right.
Scott is the former auditor, not accountant.
Right, from Whitley, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I recommend that we have a call with Sikich, Supervisor Lisa Rose, Accountant Nader, and someone from the board, and I'll do it unless someone else wants to do it, and just say, what are we gonna do to get this closed out? Because I don't think that communication is happening in that format. Trustee Geis, any thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like we have so many, so many things. We're trying to navigate through this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
We're not the only township that's been having these issues. All of them are kind of sending through messages asking for new auditors.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yes, because this is a problem. And Linda said
So
she
is it a
would,
resource
Yes,
shortage problem?
there's
So that the ones
nobody-
that exist think they can be sort of kind of not give their best? Like, or is it they're so inundated? Like, what is the crux of it?
yeah, there's not
Hmm.
many auditors out there apparently, and the ones that are doing, mid, like our size audits. So And
Is
then
it a
with-
local issue then? So is it an issue that if we looked outside of this, I mean, I'm just trying to get, I mean, I don't have an answer, you know, because you can't do what you can't do.
I don't
So,
think it's local. I think I think it's statewide, and Linda seems to think that without the urgency of sickage on our, she
Wait,
thinks
okay.
that there might be, there
I'll
might
set up-
be,
I'll-
there
I'll set
might,
up Thank you. I'll set up a call.
Thanks. Yeah, you're their contact.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. sorry.
All
I'm
right,
sorry, did trustee McGovern say she had a contact?
No, Barry is our guy.
I have been in contact and,
Just a consistent contact. I think it's more efficient.
okay.
Oh,
thank you.
no, I thought she said that you had another referral. I sorry, I misunderstood what you said because it cut off. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. All right, came up in the last board meeting, number 9, review of invoices from Taft and Nader and Associates. This had to do with, I think it was the professional services around resolving the IMRF. I believe that's what came up in the discussion. I've printed out copies of the invoices for the period that we held the payment. I wasn't part of the finance committee review, so I'm not quite sure. I'll share my opinion. I look at the Taft. Yes, we had asked for a fixed fee bid, but it looks like after they provided a report, I guess on the 23rd of April, of August, we initiated a call. We said we would like to ask some questions of you relative to the report. This way I'm reading this. So I think effectively we were asking them to do additional work is the way I would interpret that. And I would like my recommendation would be to approve this invoice. Unless anyone has any other, I wasn't here, so I don't know the background behind how this happened. Yes, I know it exceeds the not to exceed bill, but my recommendation would be that we paid this invoice. Any discussion or any concerns?
I would agree with, I was involved in the meeting on the 23rd. It's a legitimate charge. I would agree.
Okay.
And this is the end of it,
Right,
correct? We are
With-
done now with this.
with this organization,
Okay,
correct.
Thank you.
My
Um,
only question is, I think the question was, trustee Robinson, it looked like we had 2 different people working on this and billing at the same time. So, right? Wasn't that some of the question?
I think that's more relevant to the discussion with, well, you're right. There were 2 sets of attorneys involved. I think we'd asked Ross Seckler's organization to get involved. Yes, and then I think we're gonna have a similar discussion around the invoices from Nader and Associates, but
Well,
As I
that's my
said-
point. So I feel like it's all part of the same situation. right?
okay, let's park this one for now then. But again, I know the point that was brought up was this exceeds the not to exceed limit of what we'd agreed to without prior approval. But I think we reached out to her firm to re-engage. So I think I would interpret that as a legitimate charge. We asked her to do additional work, is what I would say. So that would be so that's where I would start on that, but we can look at Nader Associates invoices too.
I guess I'm not clear on how we asked her to do additional work, if that was all work that was part of the same project.
Well, I think we'd asked her, I think we'd asked her to put a report together, do the research, and she sent a report, I think it was the end of June. And then I think, I don't know, you were part of that call, or you helped initiate that call, the one on the 23rd of this, with the Taft
Yeah.
Associates.
What would your question be? That we
It's-
we initiated this. We were, to get to the bottom of where we were at, so I agree that we owe this.
Yeah.
Invoice.
My question, I'm sorry, let me say it another way, because my question is, I feel like that was all part of the original project. Like, I don't understand how you see that as additional work. No? Okay.
I think so much has gone on between then and just.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, let's move forward. I'll support it.
Thank you.
Consider, if you think about let's just,
All right, let's have a roll call vote
Thank
to
you.
approve that invoice then. Trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Page.
yes.
Trustee Geist,
Yes.
trustee Robinson, yes. Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes.
Good, thank you. Okay. Again, these are recommendations, and then we have the Nader Associates invoices as well. And I think,
You know, look at them.
yeah, well, no, the details are behind it, I think is really what we want to look at.
So isn't there also some question of,
Oh, hang back. there.
is there double billing for the same situation between Linda and then also then Janice? Like, it just seems like there might have been some duplication here too, right? Or no?
We're trying to, agree, trustee, guys, I think that's what we're trying to identify. And as I remember the comment from the highway commissioner is, I'm looking at the 9/19. There was a 7-hour charge for creation of IMRF spreadsheets. I think highway commissioner said that was done previously. Is this new work or is this just the same work that she'd done before? So I think that's where I heard it. That's what I heard, and that's why we bring it to the group. So was that additional work we asked her to do, I guess is what the question is. Well, let's break it up. Okay, that's the big invoice. And he's not, anyone else have a perspective on this? John, you were somewhat involved in these discussions.
Ed is ill today and he's not able to be here, but I believe that you stated exactly his concern is the fact that Ed actually ran these numbers and then asked Linda to run them earlier in the year. She ran them earlier in the year and I believe that they were not correct. Ed went back and brought up another issues related to Social Security payments as well. And then we engaged with Janice to remedy them. And I mean, if you look at if you total this, if you total everything that she has as it relates to where she cites IMRF, that's almost $3,800. And we paid Janice $5,200 to do from beginning to end. And I think that's Ed's issue is why was she involved in this? If she was involved in it earlier on and did the spreadsheet, why did she bill 21.5 hours? When somebody else was looking at it.
When was Janice's engagement? I can't remember. Anyone remember when we first engaged with her?
September or
Mm.
August?
September.
Do you remember the date?
Yes, we can make that. It was after the 13th.
It was after the 13th. All right, so I think we have to have a discussion. Accountant Nate is not on. So I think we have to talk to her about this and just confirm who
Well,
asked her.
is Lisa Rose, who is Tanya? I don't recognize these other names. Are these from the law office or Tanya Rome or Gary Smith? Because maybe they can, I don't know. I just was curious. Are any of these people representatives of any of the accountants or are these just private citizens?
We're unaware.
We have,
Oh.
we don't know.
Okay, is Lisa Rose still on the call?
Yes, she is. Lisa, do you have a perspective?
I think you're muted, Lisa.
Perspective on the IMRF bill with Linda. All I know is she was working on it at the, well, this is just what I've been told, so. I know that Linda had been working on this beforehand, especially after the meeting with Taft. And then had set up some numbers and had sent them to Ed. And then I guess then the next
Is
thing.
it possible to ask Linda Nader to please get on this call? Because it's really hard for us to answer these questions. We would like to do the responsible thing and pay this bill, but we do need an explanation. I'd hate to carry this over to our next board meeting if at all possible. Is there any way for you to contact her and ask her to jump on or?
Let me
No, I
see.
think-
From a perspective, I think we're out of, if you want to delay this to the next meeting,
Yeah.
because we are looking for more input from Linda, from Ed, from,
Why do we have to delay it?
well, if you want Linda, we have well.
I think she had a conflict this morning, so I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get a hold of her.
Is that,
Can we-
is that? Is
Sorry, go
that,
ahead.
ac- Lisa
Rose,
will.
shared. I know, she shared that information with me.
Lisa Rose, is she
Is
able
that-
to jump on now? Is it like she's?
I'm texting her right now, so I'll find out.
Let's give her 1 minute. I just think it's important. We need to hear from her. This is, I mean, especially if we're gonna choose to keep moving forward. We just have questions and we just need answers. But what I'd like to do is for us to just be really mindful of just like, let's ask the question and let her complete the answer. If we are able to get her on this call, because I know sometimes we can get like sort of like, you know,
Training perspective, I can transfer this to you, Barry, if you want to keep going this Zoom.
okay, great.
And so if you want to get your computer up and join us, and I'll make you a co-host. One of the last things that I know, agenda item 10, do we want to
Yes, okay,
go to 10 and then if you want to
Come
keep
back.
going?
Sure.
yeah,
Good
so.
idea.
Yeah, okay, Supervisor Hewitt, do you want to speak to what our opportunity here is? And I think everyone's got okay, please, I'll let you speak to that.
All right, so Friday was Veterans Day observed by the county. There's a variety of questions that I have that I would want to hammer out with the county before we have this full discussion. And we're out of time. So what I would say is that if you are looking at the food pantry requests from the perspective of the things that we need and that they're allowing us to buy, that's the piece that they're allowing us to buy. There's only two pieces, it's capital equipment and IT equipment. There is not, and they specifically say they will not fund a portion of the building or any building. So that's not what's even on the table. And so I want to make sure that all of these are optionable. The thing that I would want the most.
Where is the description of what they will honor and what they won't? Where is that located? So we can, I didn't see that.
It was emailed to everyone. In the letter that you all got from the county.
Okay.
From my. And so if you go through the links, there's only two options, IT and I can bring it up on for more information, but my point being is the two big things that you would want to think about is the truck, the dock level refrigerated truck for the food pantry. This is what we have needed for many years. We are currently using a vehicle that is not able to go to a dock, and we generally receive most of our food from docks. So it's very problematic. It's hard to get enough.
Yeah, I think we all are on the same page on that one.
Okay, well, we would need to we've gone down doing the research at least 3 times in full
Yeah,
depth.
that's why I don't want to rehash it since we're in a time sensitive situation.
Right, so again, if you want the research to be done again, it would have to be, you would be extremely clear about the one thing, it would have to be a used vehicle. It could not be new. It is not possible to buy a new vehicle in this amount of time. It's your. And so from a used vehicle perspective, if you all want that, we can get you the final bids on this, but we're trying to get an understanding of what you all want us to even get more details on, because there's not a whole lot. So if we want to delay that until it sounds like there's another meeting that you all are planning for another time this week.
Is it?
Okay, I thought that's what we were talking about with the snow bids and and whatnot. Okay, maybe not then, but. So do you, from a food pantry perspective, truck perspective, does anybody have any comments on what we're trying to, this is the company that has, after trying to bid this out several times, Ryder nationally has the most, and we would have to start the bid process now. This is why I'm trying to get you all to agree to this. We'd have to publicly start the bid process. It's a 30-day.
When we hold a public bid process, though, we don't have to post the bids in our packets, because that is, I think that's a challenge that we're having with the snow, right? Like that's something we can be discussing the actual bids. We should not be putting each company's actual bid up into the packet. Is that correct?
There's two different processes that we can discuss. One is the process the state requires to actually bid anything. We have yet to actually do that process yet. So after a certain amount of money, $30,000 or a non-professional service, it would have to be bid out. We have yet to do that for this township. So we can't,
Right.
I'll give you all the procedures and all that, and that's where we do not do what we have done, where it is not a, it is not done, meaning as a, bid on that level. So, from a, do you want me to start to give you the information of what we need to do to get the bid going publicly announced for what we're trying to do with this? We have to do very specifics though, trustee guys. And so I'll send out the information of, there we go.
Can I
Can I
make
make a suggestion? Sorry.
Kill one of your meetings, trustee Robinson.
I'm trying to.
Hello?
I think they kicked us out.
That's so weird because we're still in. I just look, these, I'm not very comfortable with, oh wait, we're here. You and
Yeah.
I are here.
Oh, here we come.
Am I still recording?
Yes, everything is.
I think we're back
Trustee
now.
Geist, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're back now. We see you.
Okay, here it is. Trustee Geist, sorry.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Okay. Are you comfortable having, and I guess I have to plug this in somehow, right? Are you comfortable, sitting with, food pantry director and the supervisor, looking at the list of things? I know in the packets today, there was a list of things that we've asked for historically.
I'm actually, to answer your question, I'm meeting with the food pantry director tomorrow morning.
Oh. Good. So, can I ask you to help look at what would be reasonable investments from the,
I'm gonna meet with my plan is to meet with the food pantry director tomorrow morning. And then based on that conversation, he can give feedback back to Supervisor Hewitt because I did not schedule her into the meeting. So I apologize.
oh, so you need to be still, okay.
Well, it's
Okay.
discussion in which I,
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were leaving.
Been
No,
person
I'm trying to exclude you.
Yeah, I didn't give her that. When I scheduled the meeting with him, I was just just because of having the food pantry committee, I wanted just to have a conversation with him one-on-one, and we certainly can have the conversation that you're speaking to. Why don't we just, I don't know what her availability is. If she's available to come in after he and I have our conversation, that would be great.
I'll let you three. Coordinate that.
okay, so to be clear, is
There's like feedback. It's like there's 2 meetings happening. I don't know.
okay,
It's like you're on 2 devices possibly.
I'm just about to leave, but frankly, this comes from the supervisor's office. It's not.
Sure. Sure. And so, like I said, I was going to have a meeting with him about whole other issues regarding the food pantry committee. So what I said is I'll have my meeting with him. And then if you're available to come in after that conversation, are you available around 9:30, 9:45 tomorrow?
Sure.
I didn't know what your availability was. So that's why I'm asking you for your availability.
All right, I'm just simply asking and stating that the grant to the county comes from the supervisor's office.
Supervisor Hewitt, nobody's questioning that, and you reiterating that is unnecessary. We understand. I'm having a conversation with the food pantry director in regards to the food pantry committee. And then I'm gonna have you come in and handle the part that you're responsible for and discuss the part you're responsible for. No one's keeping you out of the loop.
You guys, oh, one second.
No, please.
Trustee guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it keeps getting this weird feedback because there's like 2 devices plugged in.
Should be over with.
Yeah, what had happened is supervisor pulled up the meeting on her phone and now she's left the room. So I think we're okay now.
Whoosh.
One of the first item listed, under the grant list is $90,000 for a dock level truck. We had been, the previous administration had applied for grant funds, and after her
Right.
administration had learned they were approved, one of the things that she reached out for was a retrofitted refrigeration unit for our van. Right, so that could be something to speak to too. It might be a lot easier to get that. than it would
Yes,
be 2 years For a
I
truck.
think that's, okay. That's a really good point because it might be a more time. Yeah, that's really great. That's a good point. What about the previous grant that we did not accept? How does that impact this?
It has nothing to do with this.
All right.
Well, can
so-
it be supportive of our goals? I'm just curious.
So are we talking about the grant from Edward
We will
Elmhurst?
talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Let's not, let's just focus on this. I think I'm gonna have a conversation with Jordan, just because I want to understand how to better support him with the food pantry committee. And then we'll call you in so that you can talk to us about the grant goals, the guidelines, and the wish lists. Is that good?
Perfect.
Okay. So we can move past this then, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what's next?
Well, I don't know if Lisa Rose, can you confirm if you've heard from?
I just got a text and she was on a call, so she was wondering, let's see, can you go up on
And just
the
text her the Zoom link.
meeting? Oh, okay, yeah, hold on. Give me a second.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Was there anybody who also had a hard stop of 10 or 10:30 that needs to jump on remotely and we're not like holding you back?
1:30, stop.
I think we're okay. Thanks for asking the question.
I feel bad that I really want Linda Nader to get on this conversation. That's all. I hate to delay the meeting. And I'm so sorry about earlier. So I came to I left my computer here. And when I came early, I was like, oh, I found out that the Wi-Fi was down and I couldn't leave and then have my employees come in and there was no Wi-Fi. So I should have texted you sooner, but I was so caught up in that I brain lapsed. So I apologize for my delay. Small business ownership. I don't have a technology team.
I hate when my brain lapses.
Well, I was panicking because I knew I needed to get there and we have to be able to check people out also. So, you know what I mean? Especially, so thank you, Verizon.
Hold on, let's see if I can.
Your current one?
You'd think that they would be tired of having to give me refunds, but
I'm like, in the writer, I don't think we have that document. She ordered that.
The-
Right, that's just-
I'm sending her the link now. Hold on.
Question for Ed.
Yeah, what is the longevity of
Right.
it?
Sorry, just what we do have, folks. I mean, it's not. There was a question to Mr. Smith and Tanya Rome. Would you like to identify yourselves? Just tell us what your roles are. I'm not putting pressure on, but people just asking. Are you representing any of these firms we've talked about, or are you, Lisle residents who just want to be part of this process?
because moving forward, I'm not comfortable with people, not identifying, I think that that's important to do introductions if people are going to be part of the conversation. And when they're in the live meetings, they have to sign in.
So, all right, Mr. Smith, can you identify, or sorry, Tanya, you're first.
Hi, I'm from Montana, and I have been wanting to view a lot of the civic processes across the country. And so for some studies I'm doing, so I'm just participating in that regard. And I appreciate everybody's input and how civic government works and boards and whatnot.
Oh,
No,
excellent.
yeah.
Welcome. Gary?
I just think that if people don't identify, just like they have to identify it in the live meeting, I think they should not be part of the conversation.
Well, I understand your perspective. We have him listed, when people sign in, do they have to identify? They don't have to identify.
Just to, they
No.
sign their name.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's
easy.
not, but when they come into a live meeting, we see them and they have to sign in. And the names have to be accurate per the clerk's notes.
All right, so, how do you want to have a policy for this, do we? I have to look in. All right, thank you. I think we have to get a policy, but I appreciate the perspective. Gary, I guess I'll ask one more time. Do you have anything you'd like to share as to why you're participating in the meeting today?
Mhm.
All right. All right, Linda Nader, you're on the call. Thank you for joining.
No problem.
Thank
So-
you so much. We know that this was a crazy morning for you and we know that, but we really appreciate it, Linda. And we've all agreed to continue working with you because we really believe in the importance of continuity. But we definitely need to hear from you. So this is why we
Sure.
had to get you on, okay?
No
So
problem at
thank
all.
you so much. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Gary. Go ahead, Trustee Robinson.
So, Accountant Nader, there were just the questions came up in the last audit of expenses. I guess we're looking specifically at the invoice for the period 9/8 through 10/4. And there's a number of hours, I think we were on the order of 31 hours relative to 21 hours, thank you, relative to IMRF issues. And given that, so trying to understand, you provide some material earlier in the year. We'd had some discussions with the attorney firm, Taft. Also, the new attorney was involved, Mr. Seckler and his firm. We brought in another accountant who provided some guidance as we resolved this issue. Just asking for confirmation or validation for the 21 hours. Given that some of the activities seem to overlap with things that you've done in the prior or earlier in the year, including working on IMRF spreadsheets, finishing IMRF spreadsheets. I guess part of it, how was that new work, I guess, A, and then B, how was that requested? Just so we know who made the request of you to do that.
Okay, I need to probably take a look at it again, but I know we had the meeting with Patricia at Taft. And during that meeting, I know that Highway Commissioner Young had said that he didn't receive any of the information related to the situation with the people that were involved in the hours. I know I did go back and grab that. I had gotten all that over to him. At the time that I got that over to him, it was about a week or so later that you and I spoke and you asked me if he had responded to me. And he had not responded at all to me. So then at that point in time, we had discussed that I was going to put together some new spreadsheets that really listed out absolutely everything by every person, by every, dollar and everything, to see if that would suffice for him, to give the approval of that was correct hours. So I can go back through my notes and, take a look at that. I mean, that's back from September, so I would need to familiarize myself with that again.
Yeah, please do so. And I believe, you and I had a brief discussion with accountant Pappas, and at that time, I
Yes.
think the assessment was what I heard was you had done what you had done. She was gonna go do things going forward. I'll be honest, I mean, you're right, it's 2 months ago. I don't remember asking you to spend another 15 or 21 or some number of hours to redo spreadsheets that you'd already done. So, can you look at your notes again?
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
So, so I guess we'll continue to hold this invoice, and,
Can you pay
Yeah.
the newer one? Cause I don't think any IMRF were on that.
please, I was just gonna get there, thank you.
Go, go.
And, I was gonna say that I'm looking at the invoice for, date 11/3, approximately 23 hours. The issues related to the audit, the reconciliation, health insurance. You're right, none of these are IMRF related, so I would like to make a recommendation that we approve this invoice for payment at the next pay cycle. Can I get a roll call vote? Trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Geist,
Yes,
trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, yes. All right, so we'll process that one and you'll come back and provide more backup behind the invoice dated.
Yes.
And 6, thank you. All right, so we're through our agenda, number 11, elected official comments. Trustee Geist, any comment?
no, I thank you guys so much for, I think we accomplished a lot today, so I'm good.
Thank you for your participation. Trustee McGovern,
No comment.
trustee Page?
No.
Assessor Trowbridge? Trustee Robinson, no comment. Can we make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
Yes,
adjourn.
comment.
I think
I'll
you,
second.
I think you got under the wire there, trustee Geist. I think it was you.
It
was
Diane Keurig, Sorry.
Supervisor Keurig, no comment.
Oh, sorry, Supervisor.
Oh,
Huey,
I
forgot
thought
you
she
were-
wasn't on the call. I thought she couldn't stay. I apologize. I shouldn't have jumped the gun.
It was my oversight too. I apologize. And I should go back to the vote for approval
I
of
was
the
just
one,
gonna say.
the one invoice.
I
Not
said
in-
yes.
Okay, thank you. No comment from the supervisor. Again, apologize.
I didn't, trustee Geist, I didn't hear your recommendation on paying the invoice, the 10-6 invoice.
Oh, I said yes.
All right, got it, thank you. And then we are adjourning at 10:45.
So a motion to adjourn was made by trustee Geist, seconded by trustee McGovern. Just, everyone okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you all. Appreciate your participation. Take care. Have a great day.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the sun.